Hello and welcome. This is Cherie with Rehashfiber, and today I'm going to tell you about this wonderful knit shirt, the yarn I used to make it, where I found the pattern, and then towards the end I'm going to just let you know how Distaff Day went in Orlando. So this pattern is from a very old Vogue Knitting magazine that I had from 1999. The top is made in pieces and then seamed together. So you have the back and the front and then the sleeves. It's wonderful because there's a nice little lace edge on the bottom and the sleeves, and then you get to do stockinette stitch for a whole bunch of inches. And that's a blast. Then on the front, you do get into a little bit of work that makes your top very interesting. Then it's finished by seaming the shoulders, picking up the stitches, doing a purl row, and then binding off. You just seam up the rest of it, and you have your lovely top. Now I mentioned it's from the Vogue Knitting magazine from 1999, and this is pattern number 24. Now, a couple of things about it. I bought this wonderful yarn in Missoula, Montana. And when I think about that, I think this is a Yarn Crawl the World project. And what that means for me is, and if you've seen it, there's a past episode when I talk about yarn crawling the world. I've made stickers and merch for it. But it's when we're out and we're traveling and we seek out yarn, and then when we make something with it, it encompasses a whole feeling of like the memories and the fun of this going through our hands, and I just call it a Yarn Crawl the World project. Whole lot of fun. So yes, I found this yarn in Missoula, Montana at Joseph's Coat, a wonderful yarn shop. I went in there just to browse around, and then I saw some yarn that called to me. This is a beautiful merino cashmere silk blend yarn in a fingering weight. It is from Palouse Yarn Company, and this is called Dinner Plate Dahlia. I loved it, and as you can see here, the 3 skeins look beautiful. I was so happy they had 3 because I didn't know what I wanted to make yet. I just knew the yarn was beautiful. Now, as I got going, I realized once I was knitting, the yarn, even though it was the same color, was different. And that can happen with indie dyers. That is fine because I love the beautiful art of the yarn that they dye. But we just have to be aware of this. So here's the thing. And this is how I noticed, because I just didn't notice it. I'd worked the back with one skein, used the remnants of that skein to start the front. And when I ran out, I started the next one, and then I realized it didn't match. So one skein for the back, a different one for the front, and the 3rd skein was for the sleeves. Now you see here, when I lay it all out for you, you might see the differences. However, when it's worn, I don't think it's going to be scrutinized like that. And if they do notice the difference, so what? It's a different, interesting top. Really cool. Nobody will have one like it. So that is something to think about when you buy indie dyed yarn. So make sure you buy enough. Or say I only had 2 skeins. The way to solve my situation would have been to just every other row. So you make your 2 cakes, knit a row with one, knit a row with the other. The yarn will blend. It won't be noticeable. So there's another solution for you. It's worth it. Go for that fun, beautiful indie dyed yarn because you'll get those unique things that you know another person has put their heart and soul into making. So have fun with it. For this top and yarn, I used a size 3 knitting needle. Now I want to bring up my personal revival through Vogue Knitting. I was an avid subscriber in the late 1990s, early 2000s. I could not wait for the magazines to come. I would go through them, mark the pages, start knitting things from them, and I loved it. After many years, I had a ton, so I quit subscribing and I put them away. Within the past year or so, I got them out. I've gone through them again with different eyes because I'm older, I have more knowledge in the whole fiber arts, and I saw the patterns differently and what I could do with them, how I could make changes. So I want you to know that Vogue Knitting has timeless pieces. You just have to look through the magazine and find them. There are some very extravagant things, which I think makes it very fun. And then you can look at the timeless pieces that you know will last forever. And the one thing I did notice is in the era I talked about, a lot of the tops are shorter. For example, this is one from Spring Summer 98. And you see it's a timeless piece. I'm wearing it now. And I can wear it forever. It was a little bit shorter, so even back then I gave it a seed stitch border. But now if I were to make it, I would just knit a couple, 2 or 3 more inches to it and maybe a different border, but I would have my top. And that's the same with this. This is from 1999. It's gonna last me forever. So if you see any old issues around at thrift stores, yarn stores, or for example, this was at the free table at Distaff Day, pick it up, check it out. You will have a gem in your hands. So now I just want to share with you the fun of Distaff Day in Orlando. It's actually a Friday night and then an all-day Saturday. But here's what's happened. Friday has turned into go to Winter Haven to Four Pearls and spend the day there. It is a beautiful yarn shop with every color and every weight of yarn you could imagine. And it's just a wonderful environment to hang out. It's right in the heart, the historic part of the town. So not only do we go to the store, but we walk and have lunch, and it's great. But what is happening is that other people from around Florida are stopping there too on the way to Distaff Day. So now it's starting to become a thing. So next year, we'll be doing it again. We'll be meeting at Four Pearls for the Friday before. Then Distaff Day starts Friday evening. We get to preview the vendors, and then all day Saturday. So there are demonstrations, there is silent auctions, there are door prizes, there are lots of other small events that go on throughout the day. It's just a lot of fun to be in a room with a bunch of people that love to do what you love to do. So I have a couple things I want you to see here. I want you to see this ancient Turkish Anatolian wheel from the 19th century. And the gentleman that owned it discussed a lot of it with me, and it's just really cool. Old, beautiful tools made of wood are just really something else. I attended all of the demonstrations. They were done very well and very interesting. This is the one that stands out because it's an ancient craft, older than knitting and crocheting. It is called Sprang. And it is when yarn is on a frame, held taut, and your fingers do the design. So for you to get a little bit more knowledge on it, I'm going to send you to a website. It is by Sharon Wichman, and her website is sprangartcom. There she has pictures. She explains it better because what I got was just a little dabble in it. And I thought it was really neat. I'm not going to take it on at this time because I have many other things to take on. However, I thought it was super cool because I love the history of fiber art, and I wanted to share that with you. Speaking of taking on something, I did partake in the silent auction, and I don't know if you can see it, but I came home with a table loom. So that is going to be a fun adventure this year, and you know I'm going to share it all with you. So that is it for today. I just want to say happy Vogue Knitting, and thanks for watching.